Wondering how much house your salary can actually buy? Millions grapple with this question daily, facing high-stakes consequences that echo for decades and affect finances, relationships, stress levels, and overall happiness. Do you sometimes feel buying a home has become harder than ever? Like the dream of home ownership previous generations took for granted is slipping further away each year as prices rise. Are your financial decisions based on what banks approve, or what is comfortable for your long-term financial health and peace of mind? Housing is often the biggest financial decision, shaping your future savings, career choices, lifestyle, and retirement timeline. Understanding the link between your income and a home's price can make all the difference, helping you build equity and stability, or, if ignored, causing stress and regrets for years. My name is Michael, and welcome back to Investor Voice. On this channel, we talk about personal finance, investing, and the strategies that help people build real financial security over time. We do not deal in hype or quick fixes that promise overnight success with no effort. We deal in reality, focusing on what actually works for ordinary people who are willing to learn and apply the principles over the long haul. If you are ready to take control of your finances, commit right now to learning strategies you can put into action. Today, we are going to discuss several powerful financial ideas from respected voices in the personal finance community. These ideas touch on home affordability, protecting yourself from financial scams, building wealth through consistent investing, managing money through effective budgeting, and making smarter retirement decisions. The goal is to take these lessons, break them down into their essential components, and understand what they really mean for your financial journey, your life, your future, and the people you love and want to protect. Stay with me to make smarter choices starting today. Let us start with home affordability, one of today's most challenging financial issues. This affects people across the country, no matter where they live or what they do. Housing costs have jumped dramatically in recent years, outpacing wage growth in many places. Many families, despite working hard and following the rules, find the gap feels impossible to bridge. A financial creator recently shared a table showing the salaries you might need to afford homes at different price points. This analysis helps because it turns abstract numbers into a concrete reality. For instance, if someone wants to buy a home priced around $400,000, close to the national median, the estimated monthly mortgage payment could be about $2,600, including property taxes and insurance. This is a big monthly obligation, more than many people pay in rent, or sometimes their whole monthly take-home pay. Using a common guideline that housing expenses should not exceed about 28% of your gross monthly income, that suggests a household income of around $112,000 is needed to comfortably afford that home, without being stretched too thin or living paycheck to paycheck. Comparing these numbers to national data shows the challenge for average families. The median U.S. home price is about $410,000, while the median household income is roughly $84,000. This means that most U.S. households cannot comfortably afford the median home price. The gap is large and unlikely to close quickly unless incomes rise or home prices fall. In some cities, this gap is even wider. For example, in San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, or Boston, median home prices often top $1,300,000, requiring a household income well above $300,000 to be considered affordable. This explains why many people feel home ownership is out of reach. Now here is where an important financial principle comes in, something that separates the financially savvy from those who struggle and never seem to get ahead. As you think about your own finances, don't just rely on what a bank will approve. Take charge and set your own criteria for what is affordable. Banks want to make loans, They often have formulas that may not account for your personal goals, risk tolerance, or desire for financial peace. Instead, aim for guidelines that truly fit your situation. For example, the 3-5-25 guideline for home buying suggests putting down around 3 to 5% on your first home, planning to stay there at least 5 years, and keeping your total housing expenses under 25% of your gross income. Before you make any decision, ask yourself, will this purchase improve your financial strength? Make sure you buy a home only when it supports, not threatens, your long-term security. Consider reviewing your own budget today and adjusting your strategy if needed. Another important topic is protection from tax fraud and identity theft. People rarely think about this, but consequences can be severe and long-lasting. Fraudulent tax returns have grown more common and more sophisticated. Scammers use stolen identities to claim refunds, filing fake returns before the real taxpayer files. Their goal is to get the money before they are caught. Sometimes the IRS processes a refund before the fraud is discovered, especially during busy seasons when millions of returns are handled quickly. When the mistake is identified, the IRS demands repayment, along with penalties and interest, as if you were the one who made it, as if you were the criminal. Unfortunately, by that time, the scammer has disappeared, leaving the victim to resolve the issue, which can take months or even years of frustrating paperwork, phone calls, and bureaucratic headaches. Take action now. One powerful tool to protect yourself is an IRS Identity Protection PIN. This is a 6-digit security code that must be used when filing your tax return. It prevents others from submitting fraudulent returns using your identity. Don't wait. Visit the IRS website today to secure your PIN. Protect yourself from future fraud and gain ongoing peace of mind by renewing it each year. Beyond protecting yourself from scams, one of the most powerful financial lessons comes from real stories of people building wealth through consistent, disciplined investing. These stories are inspiring because they show what is possible for ordinary people, not just the lucky few. For example, a couple managed to grow their net worth from negative territory to over $1 million in 10 years. Their household income averaged about $180,000 during that period, which is above average but not extraordinary. The real difference was how they used their income, by eliminating high-interest debt before investing and respecting each dollar. As you reflect on your own financial picture, identify high-interest debts you can target first and outline a plan to begin consistent investing. Challenge yourself. Take the next step today toward your own financial independence. After eliminating debt, they focused on consistently saving and investing a significant portion of their income. They made it a priority, not an afterthought. They paid themselves first before they paid anyone else. Instead of trying to predict the market or chase risky investments, they kept things simple and boring, which is exactly what works over time. They did not try to pick the next hot stock, time the market, or get into options trading or cryptocurrency gambling. Their strategy centered on low-cost index funds and exchange-traded funds, allowing them to capture long-term market growth without unnecessary complexity or high fees that eat into returns year after year. They automated their investments so that money moved from their checking account to their investment accounts every month without them having to think about it, without relying on willpower, without having to make a decision every time. Over time, this disciplined approach allowed them to reach a financial milestone known as Coast Fire by the age of 40. Coast Fire means that their investments had grown large enough that they no longer needed to aggressively save for retirement. They could just let their investments grow and compound, and they would have enough by traditional retirement age without adding another dollar. That is a powerful position to be in, a place of financial freedom and options and peace that most people never experience. One pattern that repeatedly emerges in interviews with successful investors, millionaires, and financially independent people is the importance of habits rather than knowledge alone. It is not about making one brilliant decision that changes everything. It is about making good decisions consistently, day after day, year after year, decade after decade. Many millionaires emphasize the same basic principles, things that sound simple but are hard to execute consistently without discipline and systems. Automate your investments so you do not have to rely on willpower, a limited resource that depletes with daily stress. Reinvest dividends so your money compounds faster and works harder for you, creating a virtuous cycle of growth. Ignore short-term market noise and focus on the long term, because the news is designed to scare you and make you react emotionally. And stay consistent over time, even when things get boring, even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when you are tempted to chase something more exciting. Building wealth rarely comes from one lucky decision. Instead, it comes from small financial habits, repeated consistently over the course of decades. Making good habits easy and bad habits difficult is one of the most powerful strategies anyone can use to improve their financial life. It is about designing your environment for success, setting yourself up to win without having to think about it or exercise willpower every day. Another essential skill for managing money effectively is budgeting. Let us be honest, budgeting may not sound exciting. It is not glamorous. It does not make for good dinner party conversation. But it is one of the most important foundations of financial success, the bedrock upon which everything else is built. Tracking your income and expenses helps you understand where your money is going each month and identify patterns, leaks, and opportunities. Without that awareness, it becomes extremely easy to spend money without realizing how quickly it disappears. You wonder where your paycheck went, why you are not making progress, and why you feel like you are working hard but getting nowhere. When every dollar has a purpose, when you assign jobs to your money before you spend it, you gain control over your finances instead of feeling like your finances control you. You become the master, not the servant. You make the decisions instead of reacting to them. You are driving the car instead of being a passenger. Interestingly, many financially successful people begin with strict budgeting and later transition into a system known as cash flow management. In this system, money is automatically directed towards savings, investments, and essential expenses first. Whatever remains becomes guilt-free spending money that you can use on anything you want without worrying, without feeling guilty, without wondering if you should be saving instead. This system works well once you have built the awareness and discipline that comes from budgeting. But even people who eventually move to automated systems often begin with budgeting because it helps build the awareness and discipline necessary for long-term financial success. You have to learn the rules before you can bend them, and you have to understand where your money goes before you can automate it effectively. It is like learning to cook before you can throw ingredients together without a recipe. As people approach retirement, another financial misconception often arises: the idea that there is a single, perfect retirement number, or a fixed withdrawal rule that works forever for everyone. Many people are familiar with the traditional 4% rule, which suggests withdrawing 4% of your investment portfolio each year during retirement, adjusted for inflation. and having a high probability that your money will last 30 years. This rule is based on historical research and is a useful starting point. While this rule can serve as a general guideline, a starting point for planning, real retirement planning is far more flexible and dynamic than any simple formula can capture. In reality, retirement spending often changes from year to year, depending on market conditions, income sources, and personal needs. Sometimes withdrawals might be higher for a big trip, a new car, or helping family, while in other years, spending might be lower because you are staying home or traveling less. The key idea is to build a financial plan that adapts to your life, rather than forcing your life to fit a rigid financial formula. Good retirement planning focuses on flexibility and resilience, rather than strict rules that may not apply to your situation. It is about having options, not being locked in. Credit cards are another area where many people struggle financially, often without realizing how much they are costing themselves over time. Credit cards themselves are not necessarily bad tools. They are neutral, like a hammer that can build a house or break a window, depending on how you use it. But the way they are used can determine whether they help or hurt your financial situation. Ideally, credit cards should be used only for purchases you can afford to pay off in full every month. The purpose is to earn rewards or build credit history, not to carry balances and pay interest. If credit card balances begin accumulating interest, they can quickly become a major obstacle to building wealth. That interest compounds against you, making it harder to get ahead, turning small purchases into long-term debt that follows you for years. One of the best ways to avoid credit card debt is to maintain a strong emergency fund. Having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in cash allows you to handle unexpected situations without relying on credit cards. A car repair, a medical bill, a job loss. You can handle it with cash, with money you have set aside specifically for that purpose. This simple financial safety net protects you from many situations that push people into long-term debt, trapping them in a cycle of payments and interest. There are also several signs that indicate someone is doing better financially than the average person, even if they do not yet realize it. These are markers of progress, small victories that show you are on the right track, that your efforts are paying off. For example, paying down credit card debt or avoiding it entirely is a major achievement, because the average American household carries more than $10,000 in credit card balances. If you are debt-free or working to become debt-free, you are ahead of the curve, ahead of most people, and you should feel good about that. Another positive sign is having a clear savings goal, whether it is building an emergency fund, saving for a vehicle, or planning for a major life event. Having a goal means you are thinking ahead, planning for the future, not just living day to day. Educating yourself about personal finance is another powerful advantage. A large percentage of people admit they do not feel confident about financial topics. They are intimidated, overwhelmed, and they avoid it entirely, which means simply learning about money. Watching videos like this, reading books, and listening to podcasts can already place you ahead of the average person. Contributing to retirement accounts, such as a 401k or Roth IRA, is another important indicator of financial progress, because it shows you are thinking long-term about your financial future. You are not just living for today, you are building for tomorrow, for the decades ahead. Perhaps the strongest financial position is having enough savings to cover at least 3 months of living expenses without income. Reaching that point means you have likely escaped the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle that traps many households, which keeps them stressed and vulnerable to every unexpected expense. It means you have a buffer, a cushion, a safety net that gives you options. Financial independence begins with small steps like these, and each step builds momentum toward greater financial security. At the end of the day, the most important lesson from all of these ideas is that personal finance is deeply personal. There is no single path to success that works for everyone, no one-size-fits-all formula that guarantees results. Some people reach financial independence through aggressive saving, living far below their means, driving old cars, cooking at home, and finding joy in simple things. Others focus on steady, long-term investing, letting the market do the work over decades and trusting in the power of compounding. Some prioritize home ownership as a key part of their plan, building equity and stability, and a place to call their own. Others choose flexibility through renting and investing the difference, keeping their money in the market where it can grow. The key is understanding the principles that guide smart financial decisions and applying them in a way that aligns with your goals and lifestyle. It is about knowing the rules and then playing your own game. Designing a life that works for you, not trying to live someone else's life. And that is exactly what we focus on here at Investor Voice. The goal is to help you understand money, make smarter financial choices, and build habits that support long-term wealth and financial freedom. Because the path to financial success is rarely about quick wins or lucky breaks. It is about consistent decisions, disciplined habits, and staying focused on the bigger picture of your financial future. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And the only way to finish is to keep moving forward, one step at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time. If you found this breakdown helpful, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. It helps more people find this content and join our community of smart, motivated individuals who are serious about their financial future. And if you know someone who is struggling with any of these topics, someone who is stressed about money or confused about what to do, share this video with them. It might just give them the perspective they need to make better decisions and improve their lives. While you are at it, smash that like button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video on Investor Voice.